go! Fire them up!
The long, grueling jet ski racing season is coming to a close here at Lake Havasu, Arizona, with the Scat Track World Jet Ski Finals. Defending world champion Jeff Jacobs has already won this year's national title. Today he tries to extend his domination in the racing division. Also a freestyle champion will be crowned, so stand by for professional jet ski competition at its best on ESPN. Welcome everybody to the Nautical Inn, Lake Havasu City, Arizona for the Scat Track World Jet Ski Finals. Hi everybody, I'm Mike Chamberlain and this is Larry Rippenkroger. And Larry, this truly is an international world affair. Racers from Australia, Japan, Brazil, Tahiti, Great Britain, Canada, and of course the United States. And it brings a whole new twist to the World Finals this year.
Yeah, it really does, Mike. You know, I've never seen such an international field at any event I've ever been to anywhere in the world. It's just incredible. The real change this year is the points system. It's really added a lot of pressure to the riders this year. In the years past, the points accumulated on the national tour applied to the World Finals. So what we saw more often than not was coming into this event, the world champion was already predetermined. This year, however, things are a little different. The national tour points decided a national champion. So this weekend, everybody starts with nothing. Everybody's starting from scratch. Everybody's equal. Should make it real interesting.
And one of the guys starting from scratch has some unbelievable credentials that he brings to Lake Havasu. We're talking, of course, about Jammin' Jeff Jacobs, 3 times the world champion. He is the defending world champion, and this year the national champion to boot. He's the guy everybody's aiming at.
No doubt. Jeff is the most dominant, most consistent rider probably in the history of the sport. What can you say about him? His style is so fluid, so effortless. It's really hard to predict when he'll ever be beat.
He started out as a novice, worked into the expert division, and now owns the professional portion of jet ski racing. A guy that chased him, Larry, on the national tour was Chris the Flying Fish Fischetti. He had a marvelous year.
Yeah, he did. Chris really came on strong this year, surprised an awful lot of people, earned a lot of credibility. His dad tunes his boats. They're running exceptionally well. I saw him out practicing earlier. He looks like he's going to do real well. If anybody is going to be a threat to Jeff, it's got to be Chris.
Another guy they think may be the future of this sport is Victor Sheldon. 2 years ago, he was racing as an amateur. His first year on the Pro Tour, finished second, and he kind of struggled, I guess you might say, on the national tour. He finished number 3.
Yeah, Victor didn't have as good a year as most people expected him to. He didn't seem to be adjusted to his boats quite as well as he should have been. He didn't look like he was really in tune with them. He wasn't really flowing with his machinery. He tells me he's got things worked out. I didn't get to see him earlier, but I think we'll see a lot of him today.
In addition to the jet ski racing here today, another world title is on the line. That would belong to the freestyle champion. Here's the guy that owns the national championship and the world title, Larry Rippenkroger. Larry, we're going to excuse you from the broadcast for a little while today to go compete, but talk about your competition here at Lake Havasu today.
Well, I'd say the one who's going to give me the most trouble, I expect to give me the most trouble, I should say, is Chris Fischetti. He led the entire points tour in the freestyle event this year. It was only the final race of the entire tour that I was able to overtake him and win the national championship. I would say, without a doubt, he's going to be the one that I'm going to have to worry about the most. Secondly, I would say Scott Watkins. He's a good friend of mine. We haven't seen much of him yet this year. He's been practicing all week, and Scott says he's going to beat me today, so we'll wait and see. Last year, I think the biggest surprise to me, at least, was Chris Williams. He really came on strong. He won this event last year. He's the defending World Finals champion. Those 3, I'd say, are going to be the main contenders.
Now, you've got 2 minutes to kind of strut your stuff. There really are no rules, no regulations. And Larry, in years past, has always had a big trick in his hip pocket. You got something planned for this year?
You'll just have to wait and see, Mike.
Why did I know you were going to say that? All right, let's check in with the third member of the broadcast team. He's down on the beach right now. His name is David Stanfield. David?
Mike, ideal conditions here at the foremost jet ski racing facility in the world, the Nautical Inn, which actually is on an island here in the middle of the Colorado River, Lake Havasu, right alongside Lake Havasu City, Arizona. We're actually on the border of Arizona and California. Well, for racing It is perfect, but it's going to be very difficult because the course is extremely long. It's got a very fast back straight, very tight front straight, and there are 3 log jumps, which is quite unusual. After a national tour with very few log jumps, we have 3. And every time they go around the course, they've got to bunny hop 3 times, 15 laps. That's 45 times they've got to go over these obstacles. Very difficult today. Back to you.
All right, thank you, David. We'll be checking in with you throughout the day. We should tell you right about now that the national and world titles are made up from 2 different categories. There is slalom and closed course. Closed course is made up of pro modified and superstock, and Larry, superstock has already been run here today.
Certainly has. No surprises there. Jeff Jacobs from the beginning to the end, right out in front. What's really important there is that there's only a possible chance to make 60 points today. Jeff now has 20. He's on his way.
Okay, now the other event that we'll be watching here today is called the slalom. Now, let's put this into perspective. On the national tour this year, Jeff Jacobs won every stop in the slalom except the final stop in Chicago, where Victor Sheldon eked him out. So they're coming head-to-head here today in the slalom, and to make it even more exciting, Victor was the fastest qualifier coming into the competition today.
Yeah, he certainly was. I think he surprised a lot of people. As I mentioned earlier, Victor really seems to be a lot more in tune with his jet skis now. I think he's got the bugs worked out. He's been practicing a lot, and it showed yesterday.
All right, so the question is, can Jammin' Jeff Jacobs carry the momentum from the national tour into the World Championships in the slalom here today at Lake Havasu City, Arizona? You know what? We're going to find out right now. Slalom is set to fire. With our 4 fastest qualifiers still to come, the fastest time so far belongs to John Stevens with a time of 25.38. Our first challenger to that time is this guy, Chris the Fish Fischetti. Now each racer has 2 runs through the slalom course. The fastest time is that rider's final result. Chris's first try was 25.61. Larry's going to have to improve upon that, no question about it.
Yeah, he is, Mike. You know, a 25.61 is not going to win here today. I think he's going to have to knock a couple of seconds off his time in order to finish in the top 2 or 3 anyway.
It looked like he had a pretty good run. The crowd very happy with it here at Lake Havasu City, Arizona. Chris Fischetti turning around. And there you see it, 24.89. That will make him the leader. Let's take a look at this and maybe technically talk about what's going on here, Larry.
Well, as you know, Mike, the trick in the slalom is to be smooth, but also you've got to be tight on the turns, and that's one mistake Chris makes here. He goes a little bit wide in that turn, overshoots it, costs him some time. This turn here, he's tight, but he gets another bounce there, and that cost him a little more time.
Well, Chris Fischetti is our early leader. 3 of the fastest are still to come. Welcome back, everybody, to the Scat Track World Jet Ski Finals, Nautical Inn, Lake Havasu City, Arizona. Mike Chamberlain, Larry Rippenkroger, David Stanfield. Glad you could be with us. We're in the middle of the slalom finals. There's the leaderboard. Chris Fischetti is in the lead right now, and a real good crowd on hand here at Lake Havasu City, Arizona. They are expecting about 30,000 people to watch the jet ski finals, and this guy, too, Chris Fischetti, who talked to us about his style in the slalom.
My bump turn to the left, I leg drag to the right. I try and stay on top of the water. I'm riding my full-blown mod, so I got all the horsepower I need, maybe a little bit too much, but use my trigger finger right and come through the gates fast, I'll win.
Well, Chris Fischetti is the fastest of them all so far, but here's the guy that holds the world record in the slalom, Jeff Jacobs. He'll be coming up in just a little while. Out on the water right now is Scott Watkins out of Florida. Now, he had a first run of 24.68, and believe me, he would love to better it on his second run here at Lake Havasu City, Arizona. He's about ready to enter the electronically timed starting gate, and it's underway. Larry, pick it up.
What you'll see with Scott is an absolutely classic leg drag style. Scott is the one that invented this style and brought it into the jet ski world. In fact, I remember back in 1986, he showed up here at Lake Havasu with this style, and we all looked at him and said, what is this? Who is this guy, and what is this style that he's got? And he surprised us all when he won the pro slalom then.
It's actually no more than putting on water brakes, is it not?
Yeah, it helps to slow you down to make the turn, and also acts as a stabilizer so you can make a smoother turn in rough conditions.
Well, it worked out fine for him. He is the new leader at 24.59. Scott Watkins is the new leader on the board. And Larry, if you would, kind of personify what's going on with this leg drag that you talked about.
Well, there you see it. Scott is able to set up tight for the turns, make the ski go where he wants it to go, whereas before with Chris's style, the water plays a bigger part.
Well, he's playing a big part right now. He's on top of the leaderboard. Scott Watkins out of Florida, now calling home Carlsbad, California, and there he is. You got to believe he's a little bit pumped up, doesn't show a lot of emotion, but he is the current leader. Well, there it is. Finally, we saw that fist go up in a little bit of exuberation, so the crowd now wondering if Jammin' Jeff Jacobs can step in and take over the lead. Here's the guy, Larry, that has the world record.
Smooth. That is the best way to describe Jeff Jacobs. You'll see, even with the choppy conditions that we've got here for the slalom event, the jet ski very rarely comes out of the water, keeps the pump hooked up at all times, and he's tight on all the turns.
As in any form of racing, Larry, you've got to find the apex. You have to find the clean line through the turn, and he does it better than anybody.
Yeah, he does. Boy, on that turnaround buoy, he was right on top of it. His body actually pushed the buoy. He was so tight.
He's very light, he's very agile, very tall. He's from El Cajon, California, 19 years of age, world champion Jammin' Jeff Jacobs. And that was a pretty good-looking run. There it is, 22.95. He is the new leader. He steps in and takes it away from Scott Watkins. So with every run, we now have a new leader. So Jammin' Jeff Jacobs turns in a great time, 22.95. And let's take a look at it again and tear this one apart technically, Larry.
Well, there you go. That's that turnaround buoy I was talking about. The nose of the jet ski right on top of the buoy. No wasted time. No space at all between himself and the buoy.
No wasted motion. He's very clean. He almost floats on top of the water. It's almost like a cork just floating along. Great exhibition here by Jeff Jacobs. He is our new leader. But next up on the course is a man that they call the Slasher, Victor Sheldon from Vista, California, by way of Alaska. And here's a guy that can really turn it on. He was an amateur just 2 years ago, raced professionally last year for the first time, finished #2 on the world circuit, and here he is now performing at Lake Havasu. Talk about his style, Larry.
Well, Victor has a variation of the leg drag style. He uses a leg drag on his left-hand turns, as you see here, and on the right-hand turns, he just does a typical body drag, which so many of the other riders do. So it's a combination.
Well, you have to be careful not to drop your body too far into the water, or it becomes too much of a drag. But Victor Sheldon, nice-looking run, finishes up here, and he'll look over his shoulder and try and find some judges that'll give him an indication. His final time, 23.17. That is not good enough to take over Jammin' Jeff Jacobs, but it is good enough to put him in second place. And Larry, talk about the style.
Well, as I said before, Mike, here we go into a right-hand turn. Victor's got his body down in the water. The left-hand turn, there's that leg drag. So it's an unusual style. In fact, I think he's the only rider out there that uses this style.
Well, it was not quite good enough to put him in top of the man that has the lead, Jammin' Jeff Jacobs. You're looking at him right there. He is the slalom winner and the champion here at Lake Havasu. You see him at the top. Victor Sheldon will settle for second. Watkins, Fischetti, and Stevens round out the top 5. And more important, Jeff Jacobs adds another world championship to his title belt.
His 4th slalom title, and that puts him well on his way to his 4th overall championship.
Well, congratulations to Jeff Jacobs. He wins the slalom here today. He now has 40 out of a possible 60 points. He'll go for the sweep a little bit later on in the Pro Modified. Larry, if we gave out a Comeback Rider of the Year award, I think it would have to go to Harry Gocher out of Las Vegas, Nevada. A guy that overcomes a career-threatening injury last year, only to end up 5th on the national tour this year.
And a disappointing 5th for a man like Harry Gocher. You know, anybody else would be happy to be able to make it into the top 10 in the pro class. Harry is so hungry to win the overall world championship. I have no doubt that in some time in the history of the sport, it will be done by Harry Gocher. You know, it was, in fact, a very scary injury. It could have ended his career. He's come back. He expected to win this year, but it's been a real learning experience, and it's changed him. He's a thinking rider now. He used to be a wild and crazy Chris Fischetti type rider. If in this era of racing, if there's anybody capable of beating Jeff Jacobs, I would say it's going to be Harry Gocher.
Well, that's a very bold prediction from Larry Rippenkroger, but what do you say? We meet the guy that they call Holland Harry Gocher. At the beginning of the season, Harry Gocher had to make the decision of his career. Take the year off to fully recover from a severe neck injury, or do his best to race while trying to regain his strength and stamina. Harry credits his support system in helping him make that decision.
I got a lot of good people behind me. My sponsors are very much behind me. And I'll tell you what keeps me more pumped than anything is the spectators. When I walk over and I see somebody, they're going, Harry, man, it's really good to see you back on the racing track. You know, and that just makes the guy feel so good. And that's the drive. That's what drives me to do what I do. This may not have been my best season. This World Finals may not be my best World Finals. But all I can promise everyone out there is that I'm going to train so hard and come back with a vengeance. I'm going to be hungry as a lion next year. I'm going to be fit, and I'm going to be at the front of the pack. I'm back in black, and I'm driven by anger. I mean it. I'm stoked.
Cat Track World Jet Ski Finals. There are many divisions of racing sanctioned by the IJSBA. One of the most promising is the Women's Pro Division, which has been dominated all year by Christy Carlson. Christy won 11 out of 13 races on the national tour and came into the World Finals determined to defend her world title. Her only real competition this year has been from Reagan Cole. Reagan was able to grab several hole shots this year, and she was the only competitor besides Christy to win in the women's division. Today, Christy had already won the slalom and was setting her sights on the closed course, but as she has done several times this year, Reagan Cole jumped off the line first, only to be caught and passed by Christy Carlson at the first turn.
Well, Christy's without a doubt the driving force behind the women's class this year. She has just dominated all season long. Her slalom time earlier today would have placed her 6th in the men's class. She's absolutely phenomenal.
And she is very young. Her best years are still to come. There's no question about it. We should tell you, Reagan Cole went on to finish 2nd in the slalom and the closed course. Christy has become an extremely popular rider on the tour, and she easily won her 2nd world title. She talked with Dave Stanfield about her 2 championships that she has already collected this year.
Honestly, with the amount of races behind it, the national title, I think, has more prestige. Although the world title, I mean, it's definitely a nice title to have under your belt.
Another fast-growing division is the X2. The pro classes have attracted a different group of riders, and leading that group is National Tour winner John Stevens. Today, he hoped to finish the year in a big way with his first world title, but the dude under this helmet proved to be too much of a competitor. Chris the Kid McCluggage finished 2nd on the tour behind Stevens, but Chris did finish 1st in the X2 limited class, and today he dominated again. Here's the start of the race, and Larry, what do you see?
Well, I remember the first time I saw Chris get on an X2, I thought, no way in the world. And we thought it was a joke. Somebody's supporting him on the starting line. He couldn't reach the ground. And we thought, there's no way in the world he's going to be able to throw these things around. They're a lot heavier than a typical jet ski. And yet, Chris gets on one of these things and just masters it like he weighs another 100 pounds more than he does.
You're right about that, Larry. When he first started racing, I mean, I remember I kind of gave him the name. I said, what's your nickname? Every jet skier has to have a name. He says, I don't have one. I said, you're just a kid. Good enough, he says, and it kind of stuck with him. So Chris McCluggage, the X2 limited winner. This is the X2 modified closed course. And Larry, talk about this race, because you actually raced this form just a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I tried the X2s one year, and what I found for me, it was very difficult to switch back and forth between the 2 different hull types. And it takes a lot different style to make an X2 really work.
And you can see how tight they have to cut the corners on this twisting circular half-mile course with both left and right-hand turns. But just as he had done at the National Championship, Matt Allagood would hang on for the victory in the X2 Modified, and capturing the overall World Championship was the kid, Chris McCluggage.
This is what I've been waiting for. The World Champion is, you don't just get any better than this except Pro Jet Ski Champion. And I couldn't have done it without my parents and my sponsors, Jet Pilot, Maximum Thrust, PJ1, and all the rest.
Chris McCluggage, the 1990 X2 overall world champion. All right, Larry, we're just about ready for the Pro Modified. Now, they run the same course that the Superstocks do. Explain to everybody at home the difference between Superstock and Pro Modified.
Well, these are the Pro Modifieds, the Formula Ones of jet ski racing. Basically, the only thing that is left on a modified that's from Kawasaki is the original hull and the original engine crankcases. Everything else is aftermarket products or has been modified in some way. I would say probably a lot of the machines here this weekend have been built specifically to run only this one day of racing. So I would say there's probably a lot of machines out there this weekend pushing close to 100 horsepower.
Unbelievable, and they can run as much as $10,000 per jet ski. With that in mind, let's check it out. It should be fun. The Pro Modified, and Jeff Jacobs, by the way, going for the clean sweep here today at Lake Havasu. Okay, we're just about set. This is the closed course, Pro Modified. There is the official starter. Everybody online. Thousands of dollars of machinery all revved up and ready to go, and we're off and running in Lake Havasu City, Arizona. The Pro Mod is underway. At the first turn, it's a very familiar 5. Looks like it's Jacobs, Fischetti, Gocher, Gordon, and Sheldon, and we've got a clean start underway, Larry.
Jeff Jacobs on that PJS Prepared Modified out in front. The kid is just incredible.
Look at, he's already opening it up. The race is not even a quarter of a lap underway, and he's already starting to string out the rest of the field. Look at the lead that he's opened up. This is unbelievable, Larry, that he could jump out this fast, this quick.
Yeah, it's a big advantage when you get out in front. You've got clean water in front of you, so you're hooked up a lot better than the rider that's in second or third. it gives you a big opportunity to make up some good distance between yourself on that first lap.
Absolutely, and here's a look at the start again, Larry. They call it the hole shot, the guy that can make that first big left-hand turn, and they came out nice and clean.
Yeah, the first three here closest to us, Mike. Jacobs closest there. He got a good jump. Bichetti got a good jump. Also, Gordon looked like he had a real good jump, and he looked like he might repeat again this year in winning the modified class here, but he got a few bounces there, and that cost him a lot of time.
Did you notice how they put all their weight forward to get the race started? One stabilized, they're up on their feet, but it was Jacobs who led Bichetti, Gocher, Gordon, and Sheldon around turn number 1, and then from there on accelerated out of it and just sent a rooster tail into the face of Chris Bichetti and the rest of the field. He was serving notice very early. Here's Harry Gocher out of Las Vegas. He's in third place right now. He's got some distance to make up on this guy, Larry.
Yeah, he does. You know, Harry's had a rough year on the comeback trail, but he's looking good today.
He's going to need all of his help with him today. We told you about the neck injury that he suffered earlier as he went into this season, and he seems to be somewhat healthy out of Las Vegas, but it's going to take a lot of help and a lot of luck to catch up with the guy that wears the number 1 plate. This kid is only 19 years of age, Larry. People will tell you that he hasn't even begun to hit his prime in jet ski racing.
Yeah, it's really hard to say. There has been no precedent set yet as far as jet ski racing goes as to how long you can be dominant in this class, and certainly at his age, he's got a lot of good years ahead of him.
Well, he comes from good stock, from a family that travels the circuit with him. His brother races, his mom also races on the circuit. His dad is involved in the entire show, so it's a family affair out here on the jet ski circuit for Jammin' Jeff Jacobs. And there again is Chris Bichetti. He's struggling back there in second place. There's some of that dirty water, as I call it, the rough water he has to contend with.
Yeah, you know, it's early in the race. The water's going to get rougher as time goes by, but you can see, as you mentioned, that Chris is starting to have some problems. And look at Jeff. His style is just so smooth and so fluid. He looks like he's not even trying.
Unbelievable trim as he is already lapping some of the slower traffic out on the course right now. Chris Bichetti loses his balance for a second, but he's back in the tray as Jeff Jacobs buries the nose. That's going to cost him, Larry.
I'm talking about composure, Mike. Jeff has got a problem with his goggles. He goes down on his knees, takes the goggles off calmly, and then puts them up on the handlebars instead of tossing them away as most riders would do.
Mr. Cool out there on the course right now, so he is riding virtually without goggles, so if he does get some traffic in front of him, it could send some spray into his face. I think we're going to see it here again. He's going to bury the nose. That's an actual submarine. They'd give him points for that in freestyle.
Yeah, it's a little early for freestyle yet, but I see what happened. The strap of his goggles got down around his neck, and so he just decided to take them off.
Okay, you're watching the Scat Track World Jet Ski Finals, Lake Havasu City, Arizona. Mike Chamberlain, Larry Rippenkroger, and David Stanfield. Happy you could join us on ESPN today. Right now, Chris Bichetti trying to make up some very valuable time. $30,000 total purse, making it one of the richest boating events in all the world. And you're watching it today on ESPN. This guy has got a struggle ahead of him. He's trying everything he knows how, Larry, to catch up with the man that wears the number 1 plate, but the plate just keeps getting further and further away.
That's right, Mike. You know, Chris started out the year real strong. He won the season opener in Long Beach. He won 2 other events to make a total of 3 Pro Modified wins throughout the season. Harry Gocher won 1 in Texas when Chris had a little mechanical problem. And so Chris actually looked like he might be the one to win the modified class this year, but things haven't gone his way. And there's Gordon. He won this class last year. He's the defending champion.
And by the way, this may be our last look at David Flash Gordon. Word is he will retire at the end of this race here at Lake Havasu City, Arizona. He is a great representative of the sport, and I'm Mike Chamberlain along with Larry Rippenkroger, and a field of great racers on the course right now, led by this guy, Jammin' Jeff Jacobs. And Jacobs has the lead. He is followed by, well, 4 other very familiar names. It's amazing how the top 5 always seem to be the same.
Yeah, I like a phrase that you coined once before, Mike, in that the cream always floats to the top, and that's what we have here. These top 5 have basically slammed the door on everybody else, and nobody else seems to be able to crack into that top 5.
Well, that is Chris Bichetti, who's trying to crack into the top 1 right now. He is chasing Jammin' Jeff Jacobs. Chris Bichetti out of Redondo Beach, California, grew up in the ocean off the coast of California and is very familiar with water sports, but right now this is the guy that he is trying to catch. Now, Jeff continues to breeze to a win in the Pro Modified, and earlier we asked him about the pressure of winning his 4th straight overall championship title. What a true feat it really is.
Here at Havasu, it's just pressure. I mean, you're going to have pressure even if it's separate points or not. This weekend is double the pressure because nobody has any points and everybody's even. And after today's slalom, I'm pretty pumped up, and hopefully if I can come away with 2 victories or whatever, it's just going to be the most consistent rider who's going to win the World Tour, and there's definitely pressure in that.
You know, he may have said the key word of all, Larry, and that is consistency. Don't make mistakes. Be very fluid. Be very casual about your approach to it. When you're in the lead, you don't have to make a lot of emergency maneuvers. You simply keep the pace and make everybody come get you.
That's right. You ride your race, and you let everybody else worry about how they're going to try and get around you. So it takes a lot of pressure off you.
Oh, that was Harry Gocher. He buried the nose of that puppy, and he's climbing back into the tray. And, Larry, that's what we're talking about. When you're trying to catch up, you make costly mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the harder you try, the more mistakes you make. And what happens there is each time you stumble like that, it takes more out of you. And at this point in the race, the fatigue becomes a major factor.
And there's an interesting little race developing for 4th and 5th place. This is David Flash Gordon, currently in 4th place, holding off. You could see him there for a second, Victor Sheldon. So it's become real tight back there for 4th and 5th place. And David Gordon, of course, is a 2-time former world champion. And there it is. You can see how tight it's getting, Larry.
Yeah, this is the point in the race where the guy that has paced himself, has used his head, and hasn't really tried to sprint, is going to really start to pull here.
Back up front with the leader, Jammin Jeff Jacobs. 1 lap to go for him. The white flag is out. Did you see it? He went down into the tray, casually gets back up, finds the speed. Larry, this is like cool to be personified. I mean, this is unbelievable.
Yeah, Jeff's got a real comfortable lead. He's so composed. I mean, he's got enough time to stop for a sandwich on this final lap here before he has to get back up and get going again.
Isn't that something? So calm, so collected, so smooth, so fluid. Jammin Jeff Jacobs, the defending world champion. He's working the backside of the course right now. And here's that race that we were watching a little bit earlier for 4th and 5th place. And that is Victor Sheldon on the number 2 boat, passes up David Flash Gordon. He officially takes over 4th place, but it's all academic right now because here is the leader. The checkered flag comes out for Jeff Jacobs, the modified winner at Lake Havasu City, Arizona. And finishing in 2nd place will be this man from Redondo Beach, California, Chris Fischetti. And a rather distant 3rd right about now, Harry Gocher out of Las Vegas, Nevada. There he is right now. He will have to settle for 3rd place here today. But the winner, the big man on the circuit, is this man, and he now carries the checkered flag behind his vest. It's going to be a happy victory lap for him. His 4th world title. Jacobs, Fischetti, Gocher, Sheldon, and Gordon round out the top 5. Still to come today, the freestyle champion will be named here at Lake Havasu City, and a championship of a different sort. All right, David, it's time for the fun portion of the program. They call it freestyle here at Lake Havasu City, Arizona. Really a chance to strut your stuff. Who's going to shine today?
Well, the thousands of people here, they are going to go after the personalities and the great tricks, and they will influence the judges when they start screaming and yelling. And one of the most popular riders in the world is the Flying Fish, Chris Fischetti. He will do well here. He's got all the racing behind him, and he's mad enough to go out on the water and try anything. And then there's Chris Crash Williams. He won here last year. A very disappointing season in 1990, and he's got some new tricks up his sleeve. And we must make note, Scott Watkins, jet pilot racer, a famous racer in Europe. In fact, he's got his own jet ski over there, a freestyle jet ski out of Hollywood, Florida, and now a Californian. He's coming out of retirement, and he's got some hot tricks. And then there's the defending champion, Larry Rippenkroger. And Larry, in fact, beat himself up trying new tricks. In fact, inverted tricks with his jet ski. I don't know if he's going to try those today, but I guarantee he's got some new ones.
Did you see his forehead? It's all scratched up from the experimentation, but he says it's something that has never been done before. You'll see in the freestyle today. So let's get to it, the fun portion, as I call it, of the program. And before we get to our 5 finalists, let's take a look at highlights from some freestyle routines that have already been completed. Hey, remember this kid? Literally, the kid. Chris McCluggage finished 5th on the national tour. This routine, good enough for 2nd so far today, David. No hands.
Chris the Kid McCluggage jumping through a ring of fire. Top 4 finishes all year long. Nothing better than a top 4, but he did place 4 times out of the 8 events.
There's the old submarine maneuver. You'll see all kinds of things. You'll see backwards riding, no hands maneuvers, submarines, and we'll call them as we go along. We told you we have a truly international field here at the World Championships. Minori Kanamori out of Japan, currently in 1st place.
And he's trying to steal the limelight from Kamikaze Kant. He's got his full Japanese outfit on there. This is his second visit to the World Tour, and he's got plenty of support on the beach.
Oh, and a backflip off the end of the jet ski. That brought the crowd to their feet. And those of you that follow jet ski racing know this name, Mike Yelich out of Oceanside, California. One-handed sweeping turn, and he'll end it with a, well, I'm not quite sure what you call it, but Mike Yelich from Oceanside, California. Okay, here's Chris Fischetti from Redondo Beach, California. He's checking out the judges before he goes out on his routine to make sure he's got all the rules under his belt. Kanamori is the guy to beat, 45.6 points. It's a 2-minute timed routine. And Chris Fischetti out on the jet ski and ready to make a go of it, David.
7 judges total. A score of 1 to 10 each judge gives. Olympic scoring method, high and low discarded, so a perfect score is 50 points.
Chris Fischetti off and running, bulldogging it. Big, heavy, macho maneuver there. And it's a one-handed tail stall. Chris Fischetti from Redondo Beach. You know, he grew up in the ocean off the coast of California, so he's used to jumping waves. He's used to rough conditions, but still an awful lot of finesse is needed in the freestyle portion, Dave.
He has had a great year in the national championships. In all 8 events, he finished no worse than 3rd place. He has 2 wins in 2 seconds.
That's the good news, but the bad news is they wipe the slate clean when they come to Lake Havasu. The national tour does not figure into what's going on here today at the World Championships at Lake Havasu. Up on the hood cover, 1 foot, 1 hand.
Good finesse maneuvers for the Flying Fish. The crowd loves him. He's really a showman.
Oh, without question. He's always, he'll end the routine with something that I guarantee you is going to get a cheer. Look at him grabbing up on the hood cover. His other hand on the throttle. Full acceleration now. Does a spinner, 360 in the tray. Grabs the handlebar again. You can see the upper body strength it takes to run these jet skis. They weigh up to 250 pounds. Whoa, side slipping. Into 360 now. He's spinning the back end of the jet ski. Nothing really unbelievably tricky at this point, Dave.
No, he's not trying anything out of the unusual, but right there's something unusual.
Oh, goodness sake. I don't think he meant to hit his head on the log jump as he went under it. He didn't really think he was going to go under that log jump standing on the hood cover, did he?
It looks like he did, and I've never seen that maneuver. Under the log jump, on the engine hood. Great move.
We may never see it again. I don't know. The odds of completing that. Oh, he's up on the hook cover. There's a surfing maneuver. There's some of his Redondo Beach days coming back at him right there. Chris Fischetti now working against the clock. He only has a few seconds remaining, so he's got time for maybe 1 or 2 more big maneuvers. Sitting on the hood cover, reaches behind him with the right hand, grabs the throttle, and it is a backflip off the back of the tray, and his hands go up. That's the end of the routine. Pretty flashy for the fish.
Pretty good, seeing how rough the water is. No wind out there, obviously no waves, just so many watercraft out there chopping up the water. Good moves, big scores.
Well, you can see that they are all 9+, so a very good routine for the Flying Fish. Chris Fischetti out of Redondo Beach, California. This one maneuver, I'm still thinking about this one. He caught his forehead trying to go under the log jump.
He's a survivor. He made it on the engine cover, a submarine under the log jump. Big points.
Well, he's also the leader with 46.1 points, but 3 former world champions are to follow. Out on the water right now is Jeff Kantz out of Palm Desert, California, right near Palm Springs.
And as we watch Jeff Kantz, they call him Kamikaze. The judges so far this morning, they've been looking for smooth routines, no mistakes, not necessarily the difficulty.
Well, Jeff was number 3 on the national tour this past year, and he rides a jet ski like nobody I've ever seen before. This is the X2. It's built to really sit facing forward. Rarely is he in that position on this machine.
Jeff Kamikaze Kantz, 2 big wins this year, both of them coming in rough water conditions, one in Oceanside, California, the other in Huntington, West Virginia, and 2 runner-up spots as well. And earlier, Jeff commented whether the X2 was easier to ride in competition.
People say it's easier on an X2, and I'd have to say get on it and try it. And before you say it's easier, you know? And you spend a lot more time on those trying to get them to do what you wanted them to do, you know? But it's all hard, and it all takes a lot of practice.
Well, there it is. Jeff issues the challenge to all of you. Get on an X2 and try it, he says. I don't know if you can make it look as easy as he does. He's a big boy also, David, as he does a barrel roll, but he makes these maneuvers look like he's a gymnast.
He is a gymnast of sorts. He's in great physical condition. And Jeff Kantz would probably love for them to take the X2 out and make a special class just in freestyle, because he would no doubt dominate.
Oh, look at this. He goes over the nose and reappears on the tail of the jet ski, back up onto the tray, handlebars in his hands. Look at this. Now he is actually steering it and throttling it with his feet. Does a 360 in the tray. This guy's pulling out all the stops at this point, David.
Lots of strength, lots of finesse, and lots of speed he carries on the X2.
There he is with a bulldog maneuver. Look at the whitewater, the spray fly off him and the jet ski as he whips it around. He'll probably go over the handlebars this time. He can't end with it this way, can he? Yes, he can. And he's waving at the crowd. This is Showboat, and this is styling at Lake Havasu City, Arizona. Well, time becoming a factor now. Down to about his last 15 seconds. Time for one more backflip. Brings those handlebars around in front of him. Maybe one more big maneuver. It's a tail stall. This is where the finesse comes into it. You saw the power maneuvers that he made earlier. And this time, the jet ski gets away from him, but his hand goes up in victory. And I think Jeff had a pretty good routine, Dave.
A real strong routine. Not a strong finish, but very solid.
You got to believe that he's pretty happy with the routine. As you can see, the 9+ numbers again from all the judges here at Lake Havasu. He made a couple of nifty maneuvers. This one towards the end, over the nose. Where'd he go? Where's Jeff?
An unnamed maneuver as of yet, but he pulls it off.
And there it is. Good enough for second place behind Chris Fischetti. Okay, now the next guy coming up is Chris Crash Williams. He is out of San Mateo, California, and he's always got a couple of tricks up his sleeve, doesn't he?
Chris is real aggressive and is real dedicated to the sport of freestyle jet skiing.
He's back on board the conventional jet ski this time. No X2 for this routine. Look at this. No handlebars at all. A 360 in the tray, finds those handlebars, and then powers out of it. He's performing real close to the shore. Wait a minute. Uh-oh, a Frisbee into the crowd. That's going over a few fans. Somebody's going home with a free Frisbee thanks to Chris Williams today.
In the national season, he won the opener at Long Beach, and then it was somewhat downhill. The rest of the series did not come up with another win, ended up in 4th overall.
David, these guys make it look so simple. What you don't see is the hours of practice to compete at this level.
Well, I've been up to 3 to 4 days a week, practicing up to 2 to 3 hours a day, and really confident coming into the competition today. I'm riding my boat from last year. I'm on the new one. So hopefully with a clean routine and a couple tricks up my sleeves, I can pull off and win today.
Okay, you heard it, tricks up his sleeves. I've got a sneaky suspicion we'll see a couple more before this routine is over. And this is a guy, David, that comes here with some really good credentials.
The 1989 Pro Freestyle World Finals champion of last year, and in '88 he was the amateur freestyle world champion. He's a second-year pro.
So for all practical purposes, he is the defending champion of this event as he takes it right in front of the judges, right up on the shoreline. Chris Crash Williams into a tail stall right now. All eyes are upon him, a one-handed tail stall, and he's spinning it around, winding it out. This is the finesse portion. You saw all these wonderful maneuvers that these guys make. Finesse comes into play too. Look at the crowd on the edge of their seats, wondering what's going to come next for Mr. Williams. Little pirouette there, grabs the handlebars, big spray of white water, and he's out again. Time really now winding down on this 2-minute routine. Judges watching him closely. The buzzer in the background tells you 15 seconds left. Oh, wait a minute. There's one we haven't seen before. He burst a balloon, freeing many small balloons into the air. They're floating above Lake Havasu. That's what you call a finale, Dave.
Chris Crash Williams making up for a somewhat disappointing season with a great finale.
We're going to be talking about that one for a long time to come. I remember Cosmic Miller shooting fireworks off the end of his jet ski, but this one rivaled it, and he could have looked silly if he had missed the balloon. I'm going to tell you, that was a chancy maneuver, and the scores reflected. The judges liked that one a lot. Well, let's take a look at this one more time in slow motion, way up in the air. And bingo! Right into the big balloon. That's pretty television, if nothing else.
And Chris Williams moves into the lead.
The Scat Track World Jet Ski Finals and the Sano Sports International Pro Freestyle. There's a maneuver we'll be talking about for a long time to come. Chris Williams popping the balloons, and now he nervously faces the sidelines here at Lake Havasu, because next up is Scott Watkins out of Florida. He won this event in 1988. So here's a guy that knows the importance of winning a world title.
Yeah, this particular event this year now is a world championship title and one chance at it. And if you go out and win, you didn't have to run all year long, which for me is pretty fortunate because I didn't. And if I come out here today and win, I'm world champion. So I got nothing to lose, but everything to gain. I'm going to go out and go for it.
Well, that's one way to look at it, Scott, as he goes into a side-slipping submarine, comes out of it with one hand. What can we expect to see from this guy, Dave?
Well, we know he has the talent in past years. He only competed one time this season. That was in Oceanside. Did not win it, but put in a good showing. But the skill level and the time on the ski, let's see if he's got his routine down, Pat. He's very smooth.
He is from Carlsbad, California, by way of Hollywood, Florida. Thus, he has a maneuver called the Hollywood Bronco. I would assume we'll see it in this routine here today. Up on the hood cover, kind of a jumping jack maneuver. Leans to his left and will try and get some speed up now to perform this next one on the hood cover. Slides it around. This is not easy to do, Dave. It looks so easy. I dare anybody to go out and try this.
Very difficult.
He continues to work the course over. This is a 2-minute timed routine. There it was where he side slips, a little scissor cut there. That's what's known as the Hollywood Bronco. Kind of a trademark of Scott Watkins. And another one. There's another Hollywood Bronco. Now he's into the final moments. He's right in front of the judges' stand over there. He gets some deep submarine action and comes out of this one. Listen to the crowd.
And with the luck of the draw, he's going at the end of everybody else's routine. He can see what it's going to take to win this event.
Only guy left after this is the Ripper, Larry Rippenkroger. There's the hand over the air intake valve. He goes into the Hollywood corkscrew. There's another patented move by Scott Watkins. Time running short now on this routine. He's going to lean to his left, one-handed maneuver, brings it all around with him. Nice little spray of white water from behind him. Okay, a maneuver with the log jump. It's underneath it. Oh, and successful. That is as good as it gets, Dave.
A fantastic submarine. Now, with no air, he just turned right into it. He did one earlier, but the second one underneath the log jump, a great finish.
And the crowd of 30,000 put their hands together for Scott Watkins on the shoreline. He's shaking hands with competitors. Even the competitors like that routine. That tells you how good it really was. Scott Watkins pulling out all the stops. Look at these scores. Oh, that's going to cause some damage here at Lake Havasu. Big routine for Scott Watkins. He's the new leader, 48.5, and only one man has a chance to take him. David, look at this again in slow motion. Perfection here with the log jump.
Scott Watkins pulling off two great submarines. The second one under a log jump. That's where you get the big points.
How do you practice a maneuver like that? Very carefully, ladies and gentlemen. Scott Watkins is the new leader on the course, and there is only one man that can catch him. A two-time world freestyle champion. Here he is out of Sacramento, California, Larry the Ripper Rippenkroger.
Our 1990 national champion. He won the Pro World Freestyle Championship in 82, 89, like you said. Back in 82, he was the world overall champion. He's been riding professionally since 1980.
Now here's a guy that always has a trick up his sleeve. I think back to past years when he went under the dock and everybody thought it was a mistake. Larry did it on purpose. Here he is in a tail stall right now. And you'll look at the upper body strength on this guy. There he is doing a little styling himself here at Lake Havasu.
The Ripper, flawless routine right now. Again, 2 minutes to go. He's going to have a perfect score to beat Scott Watkins' 48.5.
And you can get a perfect score. The best you could get would be a 50. Larry's going to be dizzy by the time he comes out of this corkscrew and finally releases from it. That's a brilliant maneuver. It takes finesse and power and timing, rhythm to pull something off like that. Here's Larry out in the deep water portion now. I see another jet ski set up in front of him. He's done it before. Yes, indeed. Two skis in one for the Ripper. He's done it before, Dave.
Larry Rippenkroger now pulling out all the stops. He's got 2 minutes to perform flawlessly.
Okay, and he's about a minute into this routine right now, less than a minute to go. And he's going to do a bulldog maneuver. You can see him set up for it. There it is, the slide around. He's on the hood cover. He's actually going backwards. Handlebars still in control. Whips it around. Now he's in real shallow water. As he tries to accelerate out of it, he's got no power. Something's wrong with the craft that Larry's riding right now.
Larry's got boat problems, and coming that close, it's a rocky shoreline underneath. He might have something in his propeller. He's going to check it out. Kills the engine, puts his hand down there, starts it up again, and his only hope right now is to get another jet ski, so he's going to try to motor out to that backup ski.
He's simply getting no thrust out of this one right now, and this is very valuable time. Once again, Larry is on the clock as he finally gets over to the backup jet ski. It's a good thing he even had another one built into the routine. Well, the good news is he has the other jet ski. The bad news is he is virtually out of time, Dave. He's flat out of time.
A big disappointment for our national champion, Larry Rippenkroger, a veteran of 15 years.
And the guy who now dedicates himself to the freestyle event. He gets to the shoreline and says, how about it, folks? Give me a round of applause anyway. Tough break for Larry Rippenkroger. I think, Dave, as he got into that very shallow water, there's a lot of rocks in there, or a lot of things that can clog up the impeller, and you can see the scores reflecting. It just didn't work today for Larry Rippenkroger.
Good enough for a 7th place overall, and he's not happy with it. But take a look. Great maneuvers by Larry Rippenkroger. Right there was the mistake, spinning around in shallow water, sucking up a rock.
Yeah, you can almost hear it. You can hear the rock being sucked into the impeller, and that's what really cost the Ripper, Larry Rippenkroger. So he'll have to settle for 7th place at the World Championships in Lake Havasu City, Arizona. You know what that means? It means it's official. Scott Watkins is the winner. Williams, Fischetti, Kentz, and Kanamori will round out the top 5. And to the victor go handshakes and hugs. Congratulations to Scott Watkins. We have got some congratulations to hand out. In the 5 years I've been doing this event, I don't think I have ever seen a better freestyle final. And we had inverted aerials going on, balloons flying everywhere, but Scott Watkins, the winner. He also won this in 1988. You were very consistent, mistake-free, Scott.
Yeah, things were just really working for me today out there. Water conditions were great. My ski was running good. I probably was more relaxed than I've ever been at a World Final event, and things just clicked, and I went out and did my best.
When it's right, it's right. There's no question about it. Larry Rippenkroger, yeah, off to a great start, Larry. The upside-down aerial, but then it all kind of fell apart near shore.
Yeah, I had a bad break. I sucked some rocks into my pump and destroyed the pump, and it wouldn't go anywhere after that. I tried to get to the other ski to finish the routine, but it just wasn't meant to be today. But if I had to lose, this is the guy I'd like to lose too.
They are good friends, no question about it. Congratulations, Scott. We got to turn to Jeff Jacobs. Jeff, I don't know what to say to you. The 4th consecutive year you have won this title. Does it get better every time? Does it get easier? Is it kind of state of art for you now?
I think it gets harder each year. Today, fortunately, I was relaxed, and I just got back into a groove where I was relaxed and I was having a lot of fun today. The boats from Performance Jet Ski were flying, and when everything's clicking like that, the whole day and the whole weekend's going to be just a smooth ride for you, and everything worked out great.
What a year for him this year. 1990, wins the national tour, and then wraps up the world title here today. Congratulations, Jeff.
Thanks a lot.
All right, for David Stanfield and Larry Rippenkroger and everybody here at Lake Havasu, I'm Mike Chamberlain. Let's make it a date. We'll meet back here same time next year. Bye-bye, everybody.